just want to know what the...
Okay, male reproductive tract.
Close my cleavage off.
And take random pictures of you. He likes to do that.
Okay, now what I've done here is remove the pubis and the musculature that attaches along it. So it's really tough to see into the pelvic canal to see where these ducts pass. If we start out here in the testes, or in the scrotum, this is the scrotal sac, and it forms really a large sac that's divided in two by the scrotal septum. And so the scrotal septum lies in between these two chambers, and within that chamber is another sac, and that sac is the cremasteric pouch. So it's still intact on this testis. This is the cremasteric pouch, and it's an out process, the processus vaginalis. Where's Brian? Is he laughing? Processus vaginalis coming out from the body wall. And as the testes descend, they push the body wall down with them. That forms this cremasteric pouch. And the cremasteric pouch is produced by layers of connective tissue, the aponeuroses, and muscle from the body wall. And they form the spermatic fascia and the cremasteric muscle in between them. That goes out here, and you can't see any of the muscle tissue. It's really thin. Runs out into the pouch. And inside the pouch is the testis, illustrated right here. And on the testis is the epididymis, and that runs, let's see if we can get a good view. You can see the line between them right here. Here's the head of the epididymis here, and the tail of the epididymis is down on this end. And the vas deferens arises from the epididymis. And in your book they call it the ductus deferens. And right over the epididymis, or in the epididymis, is the ductus epididymitis, which is the beginnings of the tube.
That's a fun one to say.
Yeah. And that leads to the ductus deferens, and you can see that winding back and forth in here. And then it leads out into the spermatic cord, and this one was cut right there, so this one's still intact. The spermatic cord runs up into the inguinal canal and goes into the abdominal cavity. And the spermatic cord includes the testicular artery, the testicular vein, and the vas deferens. Now out here by the testis, down in the scrotum, you can see the vas deferens here, and the artery and vein form this plexus right here above the head of the epididymis. This plexus is the pampaniform plexus. Here's where these come in right here. The pampaniform plexus is where the vein and artery kind of wrap around each other, and they exchange heat, so that the blood going out to the testis is cooled by the venous blood coming back. And that venous blood coming back up is warmed up by the arterial blood, so they exchange heat there. That allows you to keep the blood going back to the core of the body warmer, and you cool off the blood to the testis, because spermatogenesis requires temperature. In humans it's probably about 94, 95 degrees as opposed to 98.6. So anyways, that's this pampaniform plexus right here, and in the large testes you can see a really large vessel plexus there. Now the spermatic cord that includes those three tubes runs up to the inguinal canal, and the inguinal canal goes through the body wall, and there are inguinal rings. The external inguinal ring goes down into the spermatic cord. The internal inguinal ring goes into the peritoneal cavity, and you can see the internal inguinal ring right here. See this opening right here? This is the vas deferens, and this is the inguinal ring right there, that pathway. On this intact side, you can see it if we move the bladder out of the way. Here's the inguinal ring on the right side of the cat. That's the internal inguinal ring. And beneath that is the inguinal canal. Now, the vas deferens is easy to tell coming out of that because it loops up and around the lateral ligament of the bladder. So the vas deferens on each side loop around and go down dorsal to the bladder. So this is the vas deferens on the right side, and this is the vas deferens on the left side. No, where'd we go? Right here. And it comes down like this. This has kind of been pulled out. Now, as the vas deferens loops up and around and goes to the bladder, you can see the testicular artery and vein right here. They come out of that inguinal ring, and they're going to go up and join up with the aorta and the caudal vena cava up here. So these are the testicular artery and vein. And they run all the way down. As the testes arose up here, and they descend all the way down until they drop through the body wall and form this cremasteric pouch. Now the vas deferens, as it loops around the bladder, the bladder's been kind of pulled out here. Normally the bladder would be sitting like this, and the vas deferens from the right side loops around here, the vas deferens from the left side loops around there, and I've kind of exposed it so you can see the vas deferens coming back here. Let me get rid of this. Here's the vas deferens as it loops around the vesical artery here, and it runs down dorsal to the urethra. See, the bladder narrows down here at the apex of the bladder, and it forms the urethra. My forceps are holding the urethra right there. So there's the urethra, and the ureters are coming down from the kidneys. So these are the ureters coming into the bladder, and this is the urethra that exits the bladder. And the urethra runs down, and in the male, it's going to continue out at the base of the penis. It enters the penis, and then it opens up out here on the glans penis. The urethral orifice is at the end of the glans penis. Now the vas deferens join up with the urethra back in here in the pelvic canal, behind the pubis. So you can't really see them unless you clear this tissue out of the way. So I've cut a chunk of the pubis out and the muscle that attached to it, and you can see this swelling right here. That swelling is the prostate gland. My forceps are holding that, and you can see where, if you look here, see how the urethra is this narrow, not really narrow, it's kind of thick, but this tube, and then it swells up and there's a darker mass right there. My left hand's holding the urethra, my right hand's holding the prostate gland. And that is usually about where the vas deferens, usually the urethra, the prostate sits right around the urethra, and the vas deferens join into the urethra right in the prostate gland.
So does the prostate gland completely surround it, you said? So then when it's inflamed, that's when you can't
Yeah, so that's why you can't pee. And that's also why you have, they have problems with sexual activity also. Prostate cancer patients or prostate surgery patients. And then, so the reproductive tract and the excretory tract continue in the urethra from the prostate on out. Now the other glands you guys have, you have bulbourethral glands. And I think, do you have the seminal vesicle?
Yeah, vesicular.
The vesicular gland, and that's going to be, the vesicular gland, I haven't cleared this away enough, but it's going to be in this connective tissue. It'll be a small gland that dumps in just before the vas deferens go into the urethra. The seminal vesicle, or vesicular gland, secretes semen or adds to the seminal fluid. And then the bulbourethral gland is farther out toward the end of the pelvic canal, into the urethra. So the testis and epididymis, the prostate, the seminal vesicle, and the bulbourethral glands all contribute to the formation of semen, adding different components. Now, the urethra then comes out into the body of the penis, and in the penis, this one I didn't cut in cross section, but the penis consists of erectile tissues, the corpora cavernosa and the corpus or bulba spongiosum. And these are, they form, there are three erectile tissues, and the urethra comes out through those. And at the urethral orifice, the ending is the the glans penis, which is the part that's exposed right here. And to see this, the foreskin or prepuce has to be cut and pulled back. So this is the foreskin or prepucium or prepuce that's pulled back, and normally that sits over the glans penis.
Are you going to be able to distinguish those two, the spongiosum and the cavernosa?
No.
Or you just have to, that they're kind of...
No.
They just make
in
up
these
that.
guys, in the cats, because they're so small, you wouldn't be able to see.
What about the os penis? Will we have to know that one?
That's just
Nah.
the bone, isn't it?
Yeah. No, because on these guys, it's, I don't know. I've never
OS penis.
tried looking for.
Baculum or synonymous.
It's going to be pretty small.
Yeah.
Really small. Okay, the one thing I haven't talked about yet, the mesenteries in the scrotum in the cremasteric pouch. The mesenteries are what attach the testis and the duct to the cremasteric pouch. And there's a mesorchium which attaches the testis to the internal spermatic fascia, the cremasteric pouch. And kind of peel this away. And it runs along the surface of the testis. I think you can see it here. Looks like it's been kind of torn away, but it'll attach to the testis. And it ends in a piece of kind of a tough attachment at the terminal end. And so if you look at the tail end of the epididymis and the inferior portion or caudal portion of the testis, see this thick connective tissue that holds it on? That's the gubernaculum. And that's a cool word. Gubernator means a rudder. And the gubernaculum is at the end of this connective tissue tract that draws the testis down as it descends. And so the gubernaculum kind of steers the testis down to its final location. So it's called the rudder.
I thought a goober was a peanut.
It is. That's nice. An opossum is an opossum. And that's it right there, that attachment.
Yeah, we saw that in Panther Mans.
And that's mesorchium. And then you don't have any other mesenteries in the scrotum that you have to know, do you? The other stuff, the difference is about, you guys don't have it on yours, tunica vaginalis and processus vaginalis.
Yeah, we do.
You don't need to worry about those.
We don't?
No.
The parietal tunica and the visceral
don't
tunica?
worry about
Do we have to worry about those?
Nah.
You bet.
There's lots of other stuff to
No.
ask.
Lots of other stuff you can beat us with.
Would you just give us everything we have to know while
Right
this
now?
cat's nice and exposed for the exam?
Yeah, right.
All 640
I like this
terms.
one.
Later
Right here.
days.
External
This is the paw.
Oh,
External.
Paw.
Yeah. What's
Note
this
to self.
muscle?
I'm not worried about the muscle anymore.
Semi-membranosus.
Semi-tendinosis.
I've moved on.
Femur.
Yeah.
M over B.
I was close.
Mary
Dens
lays on
is gonna be
Teddy.
on there.
The dens.
The dens.
That's on the stomach, right?
So, what's your favorite artery?
My favorite artery.
Pudendal artery.
The pudendal, the 1, 2, 3.
Because if they're your favorite, they might have a chance of being on the test.
I really like the vertebrals.
I
They're
don't.
really cute.
Oh, I like those ones. The vertebral and the, what's the other one?
How about the sympathetic
Yeah.
chain ganglia?
Those are sweet.
Costo.
Leonic.
How about the leonic?
Yeah.
The leonic vein.
I can do that
Those are
one.
the spleen.
Leonic
Yep,
vein
because
is
spleno
nice.
means spleen.
Spleno.
Means lean to the left.
Do the
That's where the
celiac.
spleen is. How about, what's another good one I like?
Mesenteric.
Subclavion's always a good bet.
Ooh.
Internal thoracic, those are sweet.
Oh man.
How about
Laryngeal?
what's your favorite nerve?
Pudendal's got it.
Me and Dr. Lamb got two things in common now.
Oh, jeez.
Bronco fans.
Now I gotta
and
go
you
to
like the
therapy.
Dun-Dun-Dun.
Wow, that just made you that much cooler.
Yeah, something like that. Pancreaticoduodenals are always good ones.
I can do that though.
Pancreas.
It goes
duodenal.
pancreas
They're
and
Oh
really
yeah,
fun.
between the pancreas and the
It
duodenum.
should be easy to tell.
Veins and
thank you, word
arteries.
origins.
Is that just gonna be pancreatic?
It runs from pancreas
Yep.
to
What about the caudal auricle?
Yep, but I would pick one that's kind of cleared away so you can see it running in that groove
The
there.
occipital artery.
Now, if I don't write down artery or vein, are you going to be mad at me?
Half a point off.
You should know the difference.
Or 1
The
point.
veins are blue.
I know.
Just put a V or an A.
Okay.
Spleen.
Vessel.
Know the spleen.
The spleen. What about the spleno?
Well, there's two. Well,
The ones that run to it.
No, the spleen.
Just know what it
Know the
is.
spleen?
Yeah.
Is that for
I like
them
the
or for
spleen.
us?
Everyone.
Probably both.
He probably doesn't change too much.
Sweet, I'll get 1 point.
Not half.
No, if
Yeah.
you look at the last one, there's like 10.
And
or
the ones
so.
I change are usually the easy ones.
Oh, you go from easy
The
ones
ones you
for them
change
to
out.
hard ones for us?
Duh.
Except Ben's for Brian.
Yes, spleen.
You're obsessed
And I'll know
with them.
transversarius.
It's the only
for-
one I know.
Yeah, and Reed got the omotransversarius.
yeah.
the Omo.
What else? We'll have some
Great mention.
lung or liver.
Phrenic.
So there'll be, lobes of the lung or the liver.
When we see the
And
phrenic
people
nerve,
will
Caudate.
always confuse those.
Caudate
Phrenic's a
lobe.
possibility.
Quadrate.
You guys, I don't think I'd do phrenic for these guys.
You can do phrenic for us. I like that nerve.
Except if I did, it would be down here by the
Diaphragm.
diaphragm, so you could see.
Phrenic.
yeah, phrenic's hard to see on our
Vena
cat.
cava.
Caudal.
Falcium
Or cranial.
ligament.
You left too
Either
soon.
or.
Newcomer.
No.
I've been going through all the answers.
Pretty much.
Yeah, where you been? All
We're done. I mean, you just missed it.
Lesser omentum.
I got.
That's the one that's on the lesser
That's on the
curvature of
lesser
stomach,
curvature.
right?
Yep.
Going
Where?
to the
Because
liver.
I think we tore it off.
You know
of our
what
cat.
I'm confused
Like-
about?
Right here?
All this in here is lesser omentum.
Okay.
And
How
so it
about-
includes the hepatic artery, the hepatic portal vein, and the common bile duct.
That
Oh, which
hepatic
reminds
portal
me.
goes crazy.
I just saw a cool word. It was bile. Oh,
The lamb one.
melancholy.
To be sad.
To be sad or morose. In the Middle Ages, they thought that it was because your bile was black. Melano is black. Chole is bile. Melancholy, isn't that cool?
That is
My
cool.
bile is so black today.
What was that one from Word Origins?
Greater
See,
omentum.
like, clam,
It's got
clam,
that.
clamo,
What is
mutilation,
it from?
clamophobia.
You should put that in your
Yeah, it's
your,
got the cavity.
thing you had on
What
the
is
beginning
it?
of the syllabus.
Oh, the
Yeah.
know what this is.
Cavity
Clamphobia.com.
that's in the
Lesser-
greater
There's
omentum.
pictures.
That's the lesser peritoneal cavity. So the omental bursa encloses the lesser peritoneal cavity.
That's what I was
Now in
confused
the
about.
cat, it's kind of confusing in here. It doesn't really mean that much. It's more important in humans, and that's the reason it's named that. Because the opening to that, the epiploic foramen, is back in here under the lesser omentum. And so really up behind the lesser omentum, on the other side of the stomach, is the lesser peritoneal cavity. And so it's a little more substantial than just this sac. And so a lot of times if there's, a bleeder in here or something, it'll fill up the lesser peritoneal cavity. So it becomes relevant. Diaphragm,
Diaphragm.
That's
I
a
can
good
do
one.
that one.
I like that one. Oh, connective tissues.
You should
What
just-
connective tissue is that? What membrane is that?
Oh, you know that one.
Visceral peritoneum?
No. This is the peritoneal
Or,
cavity.
I mean, pleural?
Yeah, I was just saying.
Parietal pleura.
Parietal pleura.
Parietal plural.
Visceral pleura.
Oh,
The layers of the pericardium. Okay, if I'm going through, what layer am I touching now?
Epicardium.
Parietal.
What?
Parietal peritoneum.
No. Actually, you guys have already removed your pericardial sac. What layer am I touching?
The parietal.
Damn, I just read about this last night.
No, trick question. It's parietal pleura.
Oh, sure.
Because the pleural cavity pushes out against the mediastinum.
Okay.
So that's parietal
That is
pleura.
a trick question.
This on this side is parietal pericardium.
Okay.
This is visceral pericardium, and the visceral pericardium is part of the, Brian?
Endocardium.
Epicardium.
Epicardium.
Okay, so parietal pericardium.
Parietal pleura.
Parietal
And so those two
pleura.
layers, along with some fibers in between,
in the balloon.
those two layers form the, what's this called?
Pericardial cavity.
The pericardial sac. The cavity is this space.
In between.
Is there a space in between these two
Yes.
then?
Or
not
a
really.
virtual
tight.
space.
Go review that
Virtual
quiz.
space. There are some fibers that run through there, and sometimes some
That's
blood
right.
vessels, mediastinal vessels run through there.
I get confused on the lobes. I can't remember which one I was confused about. It was like either the accessory lobe or
It's just cranial, caudal, and middle, and then accessory, right?
accessories on the
Right
Or
side.
human superior, middle, and inferior. And then this is the accessory lobe, so this is from what lung?
from. Isn't it
Is
from
it the
the
middle
right?
one?
But it
It's
looks
the
like
right
it's
lung.
the left.
Yep.
That's why I get confused because I always think it looks
It's the
like
right
from-
lung, and it loops around the caudal vena cava.
Okay.
Okay, not to be confused. And that's another thing, we'll have lobes of the liver identified.
Lateral, medial.
And so with the lobes of the
Caudate,
liver,
quadrate.
remember
Quadrate, yeah, it's missing.
this ligament right here.
Round ligament.
That's
This is the round, but it's the end of the, this is the what?
Falcicum ligament.
Falciform.
Close.
And that divides it into right and left
Falciform
halves.
is shaped like a sickle.
A sickle.
Yes. What they used to use to cut wheat.
Grim Reaper has.
Yeah, the
slices
Grim
your head off
Reaper
with.
has a falces.
Okay.
Okay. So the end of that is the round ligament, and how is the round ligament important?
It divides it in half.
No.
I mean left and right.
Boys from our class?
Totally don't
Go
remember.
to the gallbladder.
No.
You said boys, I'm a girl, don't look at me.
It's okay, you can
Does it-
What's
answer.
the round ligament of the liver? I just talked about it.
You did. I
just talk
remember.
about
You,
it.
You read it
you couldn't
too.
recall what it
You're
was.
talking about how it was formed. I remember.
It's
just don't-
vestigial in the adult. In the fetus, that forms the umbilical vein.
Oh, that's,
That's
right.
right.
Nasty.
Comes from the navel,
That was the.
goes up and around, comes through the liver, and joins the
I see that being
ductus
a board
venosus.
question.
Right.
That's gonna be in the
Definite
quiz
board question.
tomorrow.
That's a good one. Could just have you tell me about the development of the heart.
Just two questions. Two 10-point questions.
Foraminal
For
ovalis.
everybody that
Okay.
came in last night.
Anyways, those the falciform ligament and that round ligament on the end divide the liver into half, the halves. And so you can see what the lobes are. Here we have
Left medial.
Left
Left lateral.
left medial and left lateral, which people don't usually mess up. What they mess up is the right side. Okay, so what's this lobe?
Right medial.
Right medial,
Right lateral.
right lateral, and most people call
Is
this
it
the right
quadrate?
lateral.
Mm.
That
I got
is
that one wrong.
the caudate lobe.
Quadrate and quadrates on the
And that right.
Quadrate
Just up in the middle there.
is,
Smaller.
I
Boy,
think,
I am so confused.
this
now.
one, and yours doesn't show it real well. I think this is your quadrate lobe.
Quadrates in the middle and caudate.
No, yours isn't divided very well. I wouldn't use this one to show it.
Quadrate's on the left side.
No wonder we're so confused.
It's usually underneath those.
It
In
almost
mine,
looks
It's gonna be
like it
underneath
would be
like
the right
this.
medial because it comes
Yeah,
before
And
it.
because
that's
people get it confused.
Quadrate.
Quadrate.
Quadrate, because
Between
it's
the,
shaped like.
right medial
Foresight.
and
So
the left caudate.
That's the caudate.
Caudate.
Quadrate.
And the caudate, you look at the caudate wraps right around the right kidney. And so it's got a big indentation of the right kidney. And because of that, it has a big projection that looks like a tail. Hence the name.
Cod. Dull.
Caught them.
Cod's a fish.
So there's
You can
6
think of
lobes.
that. It's like caudate.
The median, lateral.
Cod has a
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct.
Okay.
I
Cod.
think that's a good way
Cod.
to remember.
Oh my god, I cannot remember. Caudate.
So
Quadrate.
And so we'll ask lobes of the
Right,
liver
yeah.
and of the lung.
Is that just gonna be one question? Name all of them.
I was saying like 6, you know.
6
Yeah.
different questions.
Oh, you know that would be a good extra credit
That's a little
end
heavy.
question.
That's a little heavy on the digestive and respiratory.
Not even.
Well, you know, for extra credit, you know, like the final question, name the 6 lobes of the liver and the 6 lobes of the lung.
That's kind of a lot.
Well, the lung.
Lobes. Yeah.
Also, the lungs
Trick question. Oh, see, there you go.
Man.
I think you should do
Gets ya.
round ligament for a board question for us.
You think?
Yep.
What is
You
it?
can't request too much. 'Cause
What
then
is
you're
the round
distracted.
You can't get
You gotta
greedy.
focus
Then I
on you.
forget.
It's true. That's not easy. First
like-
like class won't know it.
umbilical.
Know what?
Right?
Exactly. See, Brian doesn't know what he's
I'm
here.
not getting you Blizzard now.
Now, we'll
Um,
have some mesentery stuff. Probably like mesentery. Which, you know, you should
all
get
that one's
one,
called?
right? Yeah, it's in the your book they call it the mesentery proper.
What's the jejunum?
Jejunum. Duodenum. The duodenum.
Mesentery.
That's what it is.
The duodenum.
It's part of the
Jejunum.
small intestine.
And then the other one's
So,
the border between them,
Jejunum.
the border between them
And
is
duodenum.
kind of vague. This is the ileum because it runs across and goes into the colon. So this is the ileocolic papilla or junction, where the ileum dumps into the or colon, and this is the
Cecum.
cecum. Now in humans, that would have a
Where's the
little
appendix?
vermiform appendix.
So
sitting right here.
cats
Cats don't have
it.
appendix?
I don't think so.
And then the hole in there, the ilia, or papilla?
Ileal papilla.
Pillow.
Ileal papilla?
If we put iliosphincter, will that work
That's
too?
fine. Yeah. Papilla just means
Sphincter.
a little bump. No, sphincter is a
okay.
circular muscle. So anyways, this is the ileum. Most of this is going to be jejunum. And the initial segment right over here, coming down from the
Duodenum.
pylorus down here, is
That's what I
this,
call
the
it.
duodenum.
Duodenum.
And I will ask some of those.
So then you know how to spell.
Ascending, transverse, and descending.
Well,
Except
you
for the
won't
cat
see
doesn't
them
have
here.
it.
The cat,
Yeah.
they talk about
Oh,
it,
man.
but
Yeah.
I was trying to make our
it's
cat
pretty
have
much
one.
You did a really convincing job.
it's
You guys,
pretty
it
much
was good.
colon.
I was just wrapping it up in
Colon and then rectum down here.
there. Looked really good.
Rectum
Oh, I didn't know.
damn near killed him.
What else do we want to know?
Like, are you gonna ask like just probably one question about the eyeball, one question about the nasal?
brain.
Don't forget
How
the
about
ear.
the brain?
One
Because you're
question
gonna
about the ear.
overload us on veins, aren't you?
Oval.
Arteries.
Oval
No, but just-
window.
That
so
table will
scared
be
of the
veins and
veins.
I
arteries
forgot
That
about
whole
the brain
and
table.
heart.
the
So
eye.
a couple of stations will be heart. We'll have 4 questions on the heart probably.
That's it.
And like 6 on vessels and
Pulmonary
arteries.
trunk.
How about
Each or
like
just
the ear?
combined?
Each.
That's
Can we
not
have
too
like
terrible.
a external
Stapes.
acoustic
So I'll
beam?
probably split those up pretty evenly between arteries
You
and
can have
veins.
cochlear.
How many questions do you
You're gonna have
imagine
tympanic
over
duct.
Artery vein,
Maybe
total like 10 or something.
like 16
Total will
then,
be
wouldn't it?
16.
Over the,
Yeah.
between the arteries, veins.
Yeah, that's where we fall
Yeah,
short.
and
is
I'll
we don't
bet
get to
probably
hear it from him
6.
twice.
6 on the
Oh,
heart
sad.
and then 5 on each of the others.
Now you're
5
changing it on
cranial.
us.
What's going on?
Would I say 4 on the heart?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Probably.
Heart's easy. You can do 6 on that. I mean, no, it's hard. So you shouldn't.
How dare you say that?
You can make anything
Don't
hard.
play
or
with
easy.
me, Becky.
You have damned us all.
You'll lose.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
all gonna
like
fail now.
Nocti and
The last person.
I'll just say all this stuff I told you, never mind.
Oh.
You're not gonna eat her liver with a fine bottle of Chianti and some fava beans?
No, I'm not. I don't eat liver, I told you. I don't do
Is it
glands.
bad
Say you
for you
didn't
liver?
eat people.
It can be bad for you to
Eat
eat
too much,
liver
right?
because liver detoxifies the blood, and so it accumulates a lot of the toxins and poisons.
So
They
even
just
cooking
stay
it doesn't
there?
help?
No, because most of them are mineral
Okay, it's gross anyway.
yeah.
or inorganic.
The thing to do would be to run an NMR on it before you eat it.
Oh
Don't come
boy.
to
Run a mass spec.
Don't
I
come
just
to me
don't
for
like
help.
to eat glands anyways. I'm a muscle guy.
Red meat.
Kidneys,
Doesn't have to be red meat, just muscle.
Red
chicken.
meat will give you cancer.
Shut up.
Everything's gonna
So
give you
does
cancer
water.
anymore.
This cat's giving us cancer.
The formaldehyde, the
Formaldehyde.
fumes are giving us
If I
cancer.
were to
Like,
take this
for
lab,
you
I would have
guys-
cancer 10 years earlier.
For you guys, like with cranial vessels, I could see something like, the superficial temporal or caudauricular being the toughest. Lingual's a good one. External jugular or carotid. It's a good one.
How about venohyoid arch?
That's nice. Laryngeal
It is
impulse.
nice.
Gotta love that one.
About laryngeal
No. I like hyoid arch.
How
Just
about
named every
Lingual
like,
impar.
artery.
I'm just
the
gonna.
tongue?
Lingual? Or
Just
the
like all
actual
the
tongue
like the
structures?
Tongue.
I can remember
Tongue?
that.
Tongue would be a
Proud of me.
question.
No, not just tongue.
Lingual frenulum, maybe? Palatal-glossal
Paratoid
arch?
gland.
What about the
Larynx, pharynx, nasopharynx.
Yep. I like the pharynx divisions.
You like the entire cat. We're screwed.
the U?
No,
What?
good.
What don't you like?
I'm not mentioning all those little guys.
That's good.
Palatine tonsils.
I like those ones.
But
Yeah.
who's he talking to, them or us?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
like
the
all the
problem.
divisions
Well, half
the
of
pharynx,
it's for you guys as well.
because they just seem.
The easy one he gives them are not given to us. Is
Yeah,
basically
well,
what he
Except
said.
some of them,
I'm
because I
screwed.
just like to mess with you a little bit.
Mean.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
to toy
I'll
with
throw
us.
out an easy one or two.
And then we get it wrong
throws
because
us
we're like,
in
it can't
trying
be
to-
that simple.
yeah.
How
He's
about
been
the
bringing
vocal
90 mile an
cords?
hour heat in the corner of the plate, and then he just throws a knuckleball down the middle.
Underhanded, baby.
Like diaphragm.
Brian, he'll be calling you.
Is this the rat?
3 days. Your ass is mine.
Is that the one that goes around the back? That one
Play a game,
probably
Brian.
is the.
No, Dr.
He's got your number,
That's
son.
probably
He does.
the. Yeah.
If I ever miss this class again, he's going to call me
The
class.
arytenoid is thicker in the back and narrows as it
I see
goes
you.
around.
What are you doing?
You don't see me, I'm in bed.
Thyroid.
Where's the deep pudendal?
And the arytenoid's on the back.
Pudendal.
You mean pudendal?
Yeah, the deep one.
Is there?
Oh, tiny little guy. If you follow the internal iliac. Let's see if we can. Probably still have to be kind of careful with these. The internal iliac and then the deep pudendal. It's going to come out, and they had some bleeders here. Latex bust open, but the deep pudendal is going to come out through the pelvic cavity, the pelvic canal, and go to the genitalia.
Okay.
Here you can't even really see the internal iliac. It's kind of burst. Yeah, I don't know what the heck all those were.
Blue balls. New definition.
No, remember, Miles.
That's the cramp in there.
Here's the balls down here, not up in here. That'd be really cold to pull them up that high. Oh, here's another one I like to ask.
Pancreas?
Pancreas. And you can also see the dorsal lobe up here. Actually,
Like if you pin something like
Up
that,
in here.
isn't there mesentery going on that pancreas? Like how do we know whether you
I would ask you to identify
The organ or
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
identify this mesentery or identify
Oh, okay.
this.
I like identify this mesentery. Mesentery. I like that one. That would
That'd
stump
be a
people.
trick
That would
That
be a
is kind of
tricky
tricky.
Do it.
You think?
Go on.
No.
And then for you guys,
Don't trick it. No tricking.
But aren't there like
You're
certain
gonna
names
forget by the
For
time
you
you
guys,
anyways.
Yeah.
we have some pretty good ones. What's this?
Pancreaduodenal.
No. No.
Really?
This is mesocolon, right? Because it's the mesentery attached to the body of the colon. What's this right here?
Meso
Is that the adrenal?
duodenal, duodenal.
Mesogastric.
Junium.
Nope. See, that's why it's a good one.
Mesoduodenum.
So what is it
Mesogaster's
then?
right in here. Attached to the stomach. That is the duodenocolic fold.
Man,
We don't
Isn't that
have
nice?
That's a fun one to write.
Oh,
that
so
on
that's
our
not
list?
Oh yeah, it
Not
is.
on mine.
All right.
Not
Got
on
it.
yours.
Duodenal.
So don't even put it on our
Don't
test.
even try to remember that.
Because, and as I'm sure you'll sit down here and take this 90 seconds to breathe deeply and to look at it, analyze it.
I'll write a question.
Well, let's
mark
see.
next to the
It's
question.
coming from the duodenum
Except for we
here
can't touch.
and
Yeah,
to the
that
colon.
sucks.
You wouldn't have to. Sitting right like that.
Luckily we
And I
don't.
wouldn't do it on this one because I'd want the mesocolon to be attached. And so if that's the duodenocolic fold, what's this?
Well, part of the duodenal. I can't really see.
Mesoduodenum or mesoduodenum. This is the mesentery that attaches up to the duodenum.
do you pin the mesentery or like pinch them with like a
I would
forceps or
I would
something?
have a pin going through it.
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
okay.
Kind of like you did with muscles.
Well, no, I wouldn't have it sticking
Yeah.
straight
Be
in.
like
I'd have
going
it
in
spin
and
back
out
and I'd
again.
have it going in and out like that.
Sewing.
Yes.
Okay.
And then this stuff was just called the mesentery?
Mhm.
Okay, just
Mesentery
Yeah,
proper.
mesentery
just
stuff gets
the
tricky.
mesentery.
I gotta sit down. So if we put mesentery or head duodenum, we'd get it right on that question?
Should do a hand.
Excuse me? No, those are different things.
Different things?
This is
You just shot
mesoduodenum here,
epinephrine.
or mesoduodenum. And this is up here at the jejunum, that's the mesentery. They're all mesenteries in a general sense. Any connective
So if we
tissue
just put
sheath
mesentery, do we get half a point?
for this, I'll give you a whole point.
Oh, okay.
Does it have a different name where the ilium is then? Is that like the...
I don't know that the ilium is attached. You know, the ilium comes in right here. So I think it's just part of the mesentery. It's just in that, that's all.
We were wondering, are these
Yeah.
like lymph nodes through
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
here? Okay.
Yeah, because the intestines have lymph vessels that go out into the villi called lacteals. And the lacteals are responsible for absorbing lipids from the intestine. And the lipids collect in the lymph and then they go through those lymph nodes. And then go to the hepatic ducts.
Are you gonna ask anything about the plexi?
Nerve plexi?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. Just know the individual.
Are you gonna ask us to name like nerve roots? Just nerves.
I could ask you nerve roots on the, I would, if I did, it would be on the cervical plex, or the brachial plexus.
Okay.
One that's nice and opened up, just so you know which nerve roots the plexus comes out of.
Right. Okay.
C5 to T1.
I like arbor vitae. It's good. Cauda equina.
Fornix.
Those are good
So,
ones.
Yeah, what about the spinal cord?
Corpus callosum.
obturating then?
Rootlets.
Cauda equina.
And then lumbosphincter.
That's
Spinal
Yes.
cord.
It's a good one.
Terminal cap.
The horse.
No, it's not. It's
I
horsetail.
don't even know what it's called.
Lumbar enlargement.
Yeah.
Lumbosacral enlargement.
Phylum terminale. Gotta love that one.
Phylum terminale. That's the one I was looking for. Terminal cap. It's like
Was that the cone?
stupid man talk.
No, that's conus medullaris.
Oh. What was that one you said then?
Phylum terminale is a collection of pia mater that comes off the conus medullaris,
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
and that attaches it down into the.
Oh, that's right. That's right, I remember.
Okay.
Dorsal
I wouldn't know that
root,
one. I wouldn't
dorsal
know that
root, ventral
We
root,
have hand cancer now.
dorsal root ganglia.
Dorsal lateral sulci.
Yeah, sulci are nice. Intermediate sulci, those
Ooh.
are kind of cute.
Infundibulum.
Intermediate sulci. Those are the ones where the nerve
Fasciculus
roots.
gracilis or cuneatus.
That's in the brain.
The
medulla,
the
isn't it?
tubercle is, and I won't ask those, but the fasciculus I will. The
Oh,
tracts.
okay, yeah, I remember that now. That's the.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Is that the
I mean, if you can find the dorsal,
posterior
the
column?
dorsal intermediate sulcus, then that divides those two.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the posterior column.
pathway.
That's what we spent like half an hour trying to
Yeah,
figure out
dorsal's
last
on
night.
the back,
Even though it
lateral's
wasn't
on the
that hard.
side, ventral. Duh.
Intermediate's
Like so
between
easy, but
them.
we're just like, oh my god.
But it doesn't make sense. Do it good.
And brain stuff, I went over the, did I go over the sagittal brain?
No.
You guys talk about it?
A little bit, but not much.
You
You
guys
just
will have
said like
stuff